Well, welcome to episode 6 of the Go Places Do Things podcast, where we talk about going places and doing things. My name's Joey.
I'm Cheryl.
And we're a pair of 50-somethings who like to go places and do things and talk about it, which is why we're here. We hope that you like what we have to talk about. And if you have some interesting stories about the places you go and the things you do, we would like you to share them with us as well. Cheryl, do you know what we're talking about today?
I believe we're talking about our Royal Caribbean cruise in August of 2025.
2025, yeah. We did a Royal Caribbean cruise and
Left out of Galveston.
But before we get into the cruise, and I gotta admit, this is our 4th cruise. Let's see, we did the Carnival, we did the Disney, we did the Princess, now we're doing the Royal Caribbean in August of 2025, and I'm starting to struggle with remembering. I have my notes here and I've got some pictures so we can rely on those, but what I'm struggling to remember is, why did we go on this cruise?
Well, we went on this cruise because we wanted to spend some time with our friends, Jack and Viv.
Jack and Viv. And how do we know Jack and Viv?
Jack and Viv attend church with us, and they have attended there for many, 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 many years, much longer than we have. And they're in their 70s, I think, maybe even early 80s.
We never ask this.
They like to go places and do things, and one of the things they do most often is they go on Royal Caribbean cruises. They're like Diamond, Elite, or whatever the highest level is for Royal Caribbean. They just love it. They love going, and we just thought, man, they would be so fun to go on a cruise with, because they're some of the funnest people we know, and just lovely, good people.
Yeah, they are great people, and it's been a pleasure to know them. And as we got to know them more, we knew that they were regular cruisers. And of course, after our March of 2025 cruise with Princess, you were pretty much sold on the concept that you are a cruise person. And so it sparked some conversations with Jack and Viv, and we thought, well, hey, they're pros at this. Why don't we go with them and see what that's like and learn at the feet of the masters when it comes to cruising. And I think we did learn a lot. In fact, their next cruise is going to be a Princess cruise.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear it. They are taking the same cruise we're going to take in January. They're taking next week.
So we already have a cruise booked. Do we have a cruise booked after the next cruise we have booked?
No.
But maybe. There was another reason why we went on this cruise.
The other reason was our daughter turned 18 the week before. And so we wanted to do something special. And so she has not been on a cruise with us since 2018. So, she was quite a bit younger when we went last time. And so we just thought it would be fun to go and spend time together as a family to have this experience. So that's what we did. And we'll talk a little bit more about what we did on the cruise together.
Yeah. Well, I could say that having gone on 2 cruises without her, she was dropping little hints, just saying, hey, I like to go on cruises too. You guys should take me with you sometime. And so it was a little bit of a happy birthday present. And it was a little bit of, you're an adult now. Let's go do something where maybe you can enjoy some of those, amenities at sea. And it was also just an opportunity to get away and go do something with it, because we hadn't really taken a summer vacation in 2025. So this was sort of it.
Yeah.
At least not with her.
Yeah. It was fun.
It was fun. All right. So let's get into the cruise. So what details do we want to share?
Well, so every blog I read or every video I watch about cruising says you should arrive in your port city the day before the cruise. We did not do that.
Well, the port city was Galveston.
Well, the port city is Galveston, which is, according to Waze, about 3 hours and 56 minutes from our home. So we drove. We got up real early and we drove over. And it worked out really fine. We didn't have any issues. And we set our arrival to be about an hour to an hour and a half before our boarding time was. So
it gave us a nice little cushion.
It gave us plenty of cushion. I mean, frankly, if something had happened, we had enough of a cushion, because sail away wasn't until 3:30. So our boarding time was like 11 or 11:30. And so we were shooting to be kind of parking by 10:30, and we easily made that. We left about 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
We stopped twice at Buc-ee's on the way because that seems to be the thing you have to do now.
Yeah, well, okay, so a couple of things, that come to mind. If you're gonna cruise out of Galveston and you're not from Texas, make a little extra time and make sure you go check out Buc-ee's. You'll probably fly into Houston, so you're gonna drive by two of them going down Interstate 45.
No, just one
Oh, just
between one between Houston and Galveston, but there was another between
Austin and
Austin and Houston. So yeah, we went. Madison had got in her head that she wanted a pulled pork sandwich, and she didn't care that it was 10 o'clock in the morning and that we were going to have.
We were gonna get on the boat and have all you could eat.
Yeah, she wanted a pulled pork sandwich from Buc-ee's. So yeah, that's what we got, and we enjoyed a cinnamon roll. I didn't want to eat too much because I wanted to be hungry when we had lunch at the buffet.
Yeah, but having gotten up at 5 o'clock in the morning,
We were hungry by the time we got to Buc-ee's.
yeah.
So
Didn't we get Starbucks or something? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Maybe we did. We'd sometimes do and we sometimes don't. We just kind of depends. We had been being very good on our diets. We had been
Yes.
really watching it. I kind of really got determined that I was going to get serious about losing some weight and getting in better shape. And so had been doing that right up to that day. Had been very, very disciplined with our food intake and food types and the type of food we were eating anyway. But when we got I think we broke it at Buc-ee's. Is what we decided. Okay, we're on vacation now and we're going to have a cinnamon roll. But we shared a cinnamon roll. We didn't each have our own.
Right.
And
Oh,
so-
and you know what we did? I got an iced coffee, I think, and you got an iced tea when we were at Buc-ee's.
Yeah. They have a great coffee bar at Buc-ee's.
Yeah. Oh, they got a great everything at Buc-ee's.
Yeah,
That's why.
That's why everybody stops there. Yeah. So Buc-ee's, I've been going to Buc-ee's. One of the first Buc-ee's was opened in Giddings, Texas, which is about the halfway point between Houston and Austin. And I mean, 25 years ago, that's where I would stop when I was driving over from Houston to visit family. Before I lived in the Austin area, I lived in the Houston area. And you stop there because their bathrooms are immaculate. They keep them very clean.
Mhm.
They're very private. You feel very safe. That was the main reason I would always stop there, and I might get an icy or a coffee or something. But it's become like
It's an attraction.
it's
now.
become an attraction. Yeah, it's not just they started out with good bathrooms, and then they started adding their own specialized foods and now merchandise, and it's kind of like going into a Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Costco. Yeah, it's like everything you can
And a
imagine.
Bolero or a Texaco. It's like a gas station.
It is
too.
a gas station, and you can't bring a tractor trailer in there like a commercial 18-wheeler. They do not have that. So you don't have any truckers in there. You have families in there is what you have generally. You have people who are on the road and they're making a stop and they're getting something to drink, something to eat. They have all kinds of different foods and they're really good. So they've really done well establishing themselves throughout Texas, and now they're kind of working their way across the South. I think they've got probably a good dozen stores outside of Texas now. So
Yeah, they're growing.
yeah.
You had mentioned something a minute ago I want to go back to, and that was that you were trying to be good on your diet. If I remember correctly, the cruise we went on in 2018, we were also dieting pretty strong, and the cruise acted as kind of a nice little reward system. And so maybe we stay on this diet and just reward ourselves with cruises. There might be something to that.
There might be. Yeah, we did do in 2018. I tried to stay good, even though we broke it. We had a cinnamon roll at Buc-ee's, our first meal on the ship. So let's talk about getting on the ship, and then
Then you can talk about the meals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a 5-night cruise out of Galveston on Royal Caribbean. What was the ship? It was
The Mariner of the Seas.
The Mariner of the Seas.
Which is an older ship. And it was clear it was an older ship, but it was nice.
It was really a beautiful ship, and it had a nice promenade. It had a nice top deck with the pools. It was if you picture a really nice cruise ship in your mind, it checks all the boxes. It even had the glass elevators that went up and down. Had a great piano bar. It was a really nice ship.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm just saying it was definitely not a brand new ship, and you could tell. I mean, it had seen some wear, but you can tell it's also been well cared for. It's been refurbished. I think the ship was, it's like a 20-year-old ship, but I think it was refurbished in the late teens.
Yeah, 6 or 7 years ago.
And so it's it's good condition, but they're constantly having to. I mean, it lives in salt water, so they are constantly having to do maintenance on it and paint and things like that. So
let's talk about embarkation.
So we parked at a great place, a private parking place that we found that was
a
recommended.
Recommendation from Jack and Viv. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to park. That's where they park their car.
And it's like a warehouse, and it's not a parking garage with a bunch of levels. You pull in, and you drive in through this big garage door. They close the garage door after you, and so it's somewhat climate controlled in there. I don't think it's like super climate controlled,
but it's definitely out of the elements.
It's definitely out of the elements, completely enclosed. And I had a great experience with the service there, and they took us right over. They stopped and let us out right where the what do you call them? The porters. The porters are, and we checked our bags. We already had them tagged, ready to go.
So we just gave them to them.
And we had our carry-ons because, of course, you always want to keep your medications and anything you desperately do not want to lose, you keep that with you. And so we had a jacket, a little, I don't even think I had a change of clothes, but I think I did throw my swimsuit in there just in case. But we ended up not going swimming.
No. So it was the three of us.
Yeah.
Jack and Viv, were they already on board or were they coming on later?
We met up with them later. I don't know when they got on board.
So we went through security pretty quick and painless, very much similar to the Princess experience, and got through security. It got up to the gangway and walked on board the ship.
Yeah, and we immediately did our muster. Mm-hmm. And we went and checked the inn and scanned our little cards that we'd done that. I watched the little video on the app, and then we went to the buffet, which is, what probably 90% of the people getting on board do. But it was early enough where it wasn't too crowded. And so we had time. We just found a table, and then we took turns going up to the buffet so that someone could sit at our table and, watch all of our little carry-on bags.
Yeah.
But it was our first time seeing the buffet, and it was good. And the first thing I found was a wonderful salad bar. And I thought, well, I'm just going to try to continue doing good. And so the first thing I got was a great salad.
How long did that last?
About a day.
Yeah. Best intentions.
Right? I did eat more salad on this cruise than I had on previous cruises. So I was good. I am mindful that I want to have, some healthy things.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really happy with the buffet. And Jack and Viv had said that the buffets are really good. We'd watch some videos. That's the thing that we tend to do if we know we're going on a ship. It's so great that we live in an age where you can go on YouTube and search the name and the brand and find numerous videos of people that have cruised previously on the ship you're going to go on. Even a brand new ship like the Sun Princess. We were able to find people that had cruised on it before and given us tours of it, so we knew what to expect. So that was nice. And so we walked around the ship. We caught our bearings and figured out where we were going. And I remember our room.
Oh, it was ready.
It was ready pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, we got up there and I was not expecting it to be ready, but we got up there and our steward was like, oh, you could go ahead and leave your stuff. And we're like, well, okay. So we went ahead and put our stuff in the room. I think they were still doing a few things, but they were fine with us leaving our stuff there. So then, of course, that's less to carry around. And so then we explored the ship and, we went and looked where's the theater? Where's the library? We always like to find the library.
Yeah, Madison really liked finding the library. She felt like that was a place that she could go away and have a little personal time away from us.
Yeah.
That wasn't a busy on deck. She's a bit of an introvert. She's kind of a little bit of both, depending on her mood. But when she wants to be in a nice, quiet place to read a book or to surf her phone or whatever she's doing, she found the library to be her favorite place to do that.
Well, and she was excited. She found the adult only. We saw the adult only area pool. She's like, oh, I'm 18 now. Does that mean I can go in there? And I'm like, yes, you can. And so she did enjoy that because then she didn't have to go over where all the kids were. She found a little bit of a quieter area by the pool, and she took her book and was able to read and enjoy herself. So
yeah. She even made a few friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was embarkation day. We had a dinner that night at the MDR, the main dining room with Jack and Viv. We turned out we had our own table for the 5 of us. There was a table with a 6 setting. that we were able to sit at every night, had our own
Yeah,
two
we
servers.
did traditional dining and we did early dining. I'm a fan of traditional dining because I really like the MDR experience. I like how pampered they make you feel. You get to choose an appetizer. There's usually something you like, and if there's not, you can ask them, and if they'll let you order off menu if they can.
Yeah.
They're very accommodating, and they want to provide good service. And we had really great servers, and the food was really good. We really enjoyed.
Yeah. Well, you said it. Sometimes you can find something you like. Sometimes you can find 2 or 3 things you like. And the nice thing about the MDR is that you can actually order as much as you want. They'll just keep bringing it to you.
Yeah, that is something that's going away on a lot of cruise ships, but I don't know that it's going away on Royal Caribbean yet. And it hadn't gone away as of our cruise in August. And so there was a couple times where between the two of us, there were 3 different things we kind of wanted to try. So we just shared, we ordered 3 instead of 2 or 4 instead of 2. And we're able to taste some things, when maybe we normally wouldn't have gotten.
Yeah.
We did try, Madison wanted to try escargot.
She did.
And
she tried it in 2018.
But she couldn't remember. Yeah. And she did enjoy it. She liked it. You tried it too. And I liked it as well. I mean, it's not something I would want to order all the time, but it was nice to have. And
yeah.
So,
I don't know about the people who are listening to this, but we do not go out for fine dining on a regular basis. Maybe 2-3 times a year when we're at home. No. I know there's like a Christmas dinner that might be a nice thing that we do for the company, but outside that, it's just a couple of times a year we might do. Might be a thing with church where they're having like a formal banquet or something. We'll go to that, but we don't get dressed up and go to like a 4-course meal or a 3-course meal or a 5-course meal. And so it's nice to sit down, have somebody serve you, bring you your beverage, make sure your water's topped off, bread service, appetizer, mains, dessert, and dessert with coffee, which is a nice, extra feature. And that's 5 nights of us being able to go out and do. I mean, you don't have to go every time, but we like to go and enjoy. In fact, I think we skipped one night, didn't we?
Okay. No, but Jack and Viv did because they knew that on the Mexican theme night that they would like the food in the buffet better, and they were right. The food in the buffet that night was a little more varied, and if we're kind of Mexican food connoisseurs, so we probably would have been better off in the buffet that night as well. But that's okay. We had a great. The food was very good. I would say. I don't know that I liked it as well as the Sun Princess or Disney, but it was definitely still way better than Carnival.
Okay, good to know. I would agree with that. I think that they're all very shades of the same, type of, the same kind of food. But yeah, I would definitely say that Disney and Princess had the better food, but this was not bad. This was definitely... it qualified as, in my opinion, is better than I usually get at home kind of stuff, but not that bad. It was actually very good. So I don't want people thinking that we think that Carnival food, or not Carnival, but Royal Caribbean food is not.
No, I think it was good. And the buffet was varied so that you could find something you liked. So we don't really have a lot of special needs. We don't have any dairy or nut or gluten sensitivity. So we were able to enjoy a lot of the stuff.
But a lot of the videos we watch of people who cruise tend to have vegetarian needs or dairy needs or gluten needs, and they talk about those things. So if there's somebody in your group that has that, these ships definitely accommodate that.
Yeah, I would say for sure they have a lot of they had a lot of gluten-free options. I saw.
Yeah. So that first night we were having dinner. We're leaving Galveston. We got the early dinner reservation so that we could go catch all the shows. Yeah. I think it was the ice skating show was the first one we saw. Something really unique about this ship is there's a ice skating rink, and they do kind of an ice capades type show at sea, which is so unusual. But
yeah, so I think that's something Royal Caribbean does on a lot of their ships. Most of the ships I've seen with Royal Caribbean do have an ice rink. That's something I haven't seen on other cruise lines, but I think that's pretty amazing. I mean, you're on ice. They're on ice doing really difficult jumps. I was really surprised by the level of difficulty that some of these skaters were engaging in jumps and spins, and it was really, really impressive. And we did enjoy that show quite a bit.
Yeah, I would say it was my favorite.
Yeah.
So that was great. And then we took in the ice skating show. It was jam packed. I mean, it was like 7 mini shows in one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we took in a little bit more of the ship. I can't remember if we went and actually listened to the piano bar that
I
night.
think we did. I think we ended up there most nights.
There was a gentleman named Cooper who was playing on the ship, and he really had a packed crowd every night in the piano bar.
Oh, yeah. And he was good. And it was so funny because, he's looking at his iPad and playing. And one night, his iPad, the Wi-Fi or something went down, and he didn't have his music anymore. But you know what? He did not miss a beat. He was so great. He was so good. Had a lovely mellow tenor voice, and and could play the piano really, really well, and clearly enjoyed doing it. And so he had a good time. Yeah, it was just enjoyable to sit and visit and listen to, popular songs from the 50s through the current.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he had quite a repertoire.
He really did.
Yeah. So let's go to the stateroom because, it gets late. We want to go to bed and turn in for the night. What did you think of the stateroom?
The stateroom was all right. It was different because we had Madison in the room with us.
Yeah.
And prior, when we had Madison in the room, she was like 11, and we had her cousin who was like 9 staying with us, and they stayed on a couch that made out into a bed. This time, it was a little, like a bunk bed that came down from the ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
and it was over our heads in our bed. So you had to duck your head in to go to bed. So I don't know that I love that configuration, but it was fine for a few days. We had a balcony room. The balcony was very nice.
Yeah, we've always had a veranda.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this is very similar to what we've had in the past.
I would say it's similar. I would say it's, again, better than Carnival. Not as good as Princess or Disney. But I think that also maybe has something to do with the age of the ship. When we went on the Disney Wish, brand new ship.
Yeah.
When we went on the Sun Princess, brand new ship. And so this was an older ship compared to what we've been on in the past. So I liked it. I mean, I do like having a balcony. I like sitting out in the balcony and just kind of looking at the ocean and seeing nothing but ocean. It's peaceful.
Yeah, it's nice. Speaking of looking at the ocean, our second day was a sea day. What memories do you have from that, if any?
One of the reasons we liked the idea of going with Jack and Viv is we knew they'd play games with us. And so we sat and they had some relatives on the ship as well. And so we were able to meet them, and we played some games together, and that was a lot of fun. We sat in the buffet area for a long time and just played games and enjoyed it, and then went and took a nap and came back and walked around the ship. I don't think I went to the spa on this ship.
No, I don't think you did.
But I did enjoy just walking. Oh, we spent some time just relaxing also out on the deck. So we found some deck chairs and just sat. I don't really like sitting in the sun, but we sat on the deck kind of in the shade, just reading our books and watching the sea and just trying to relax and check out, let our minds.
I mean, that's kind of why we're there, right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next morning, we decided to go to the MDR for breakfast. That's something you like to do as well. At least
We did
once.
that was on the sea day. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, was that the sea day?
That was the sea because we had time. So yeah, that was the only time I didn't feel like I had a need to go back there again. There was so much at the buffet. They have the omelet bar, which is just really great. You can get any kind of omelet you want, and and I don't know that we've been on a ship that doesn't have that. And so, we were able to get our coffee and have some eggs and pretty hearty breakfast.
Yeah, was that the dress up night, formal night?
For breakfast?
No, that night. Sorry.
I think the ocean night was, this first sea day. I think that may have been the dress up night. Or it may have been the second sea day, which is after our two ports. But it was just very relaxing the first sea day so day 3 was when we got to, that's right.
Costa Maya.
You and Madison went on an excursion there.
Yeah, so we decided to go to the Mayan ruins on the third day. That was Costa Maya. And we went to Chocchobin. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. So if you're hearing this and you know how to pronounce it, please let me know. But the Mayan ruins in Chocchobin, the port. So let me start with the port at Costa Maya. It's a rather well built out cruise port, but beyond that, so that you have to navigate some pretty lengthy mazes of shops and whatnot in order to get out of there. There was a bit of a demonstration of Mexican culture, these men that climbed a pole and then spun around it, hanging by their feet, playing instruments as they got lowered to the ground. And then Madison, of course, had no idea where she was going, but I had done a little research, and I'd simply known that if you just follow this made path, it's going to get you eventually out. And then we did not book our excursion through the cruise ship. So I knew that we had to get out of the cruise port, but just outside the cruise port is a very tiny town, and it's not exactly the safest place to be. That's why a lot of people book through the cruise port or through the cruise line, because the buses come into the port and pick you up inside, take you out through the gate and then to wherever you're going to go outside, with a little bit more security. But I was actually really pleased with the company. When we arrived outside the cruise port, we had to walk about a block and got to a series of vans, some large white Ford Transit vans, and they all seated about 10 to 12 people. And when we showed up, there was one that was already mostly fully loaded. So Madison and I, we were like the last two people to get on the van. It was air conditioned. They closed the door. They offered us water. We had a wonderful tour guide that talked to us. It was about an hour drive into the jungle. And what was really fascinating is that in order to get to the ruins where they were at, there was one road that went from the town of Costa Maya to pretty near where you get to where this excavation was going on. And it was a straight road that went for about 40, 50 miles. And they did it at about 80 miles an hour. I could see it because I opened the Waze app and typed in the destination, and Waze will tell you what your ground speed is. And I could see that we were doing 77, 78, 80 miles an hour, but there were no crossroads. It wasn't like there was no intersections. It was just nothing but a wall of jungle on both sides of this 2-lane highway, and our van doing 80 miles an hour. Now, if a Jaguar had walked out of the jungle, we had all been creamed all over the side of the road, but that's okay because no Jaguars walked out of the jungle. We were able to get there. There were a couple of slow cars, and if you've ever driven in Mexico, people they're just passing people left and right. So the cars would pull over kind of on the shoulder a little bit, and then we'd go around them. But they made good time. They got us there. The tour guide told us where to go, who to meet, what to expect. He spoke great English, even though he's from the area. He's definitely suited well for the job. And Madison and I proceeded to take a 90-minute tour with a local. He was actually a gentleman from Belize, but he'd been working there like 20 years at that particular site. So he knew every building, every structure, every ruin, every rock, every stone. And, took us through the tour. We saw monkeys. We saw ants in the jungle carrying little leaves, as they were building whatever structure they were building that ants live in. It was neat. And then what was great was that we got to walk on them, which was something I was really hopeful that we were going to be able to do, because the first couple that you come to, they're roped around and you're not allowed, you can go up to it, but you're not allowed to go on it. So we were able to do that and then get back to the ship with plenty of time, because it was shortly after Madison's birthday. And I knew that we had a white night coming. She had seen a white dress on our way out of the cruise port that caught her attention. So when we were coming back through, she wanted to stop and look at it. Of course, the sales lady was pretty aggressive, but I talked her down from, I don't remember, something like $60 to $40 or something silly. It's okay to barter with people.
Yeah, so it was pretty interesting. I think Madison made a comment about that when she got back on the ship, that she'd never really done anything like that, like the bartering, the bargaining that you do in markets. She hasn't had the opportunity to do that. So it was, I think, a good experience for her.
Yeah, I do too. And so bought her the dress and got back on the ship. What did you do while we were off?
Absolutely nothing. I did what I wanted. I don't know that I may have gone to the buffet and got a piece of pizza or something and just relaxed, and I just relaxed on the deck. I remember just sitting there reading, and I stayed there until I was kind of tired and sitting the way I was sitting, and yeah, and then I went
did something else.
Yeah, I went and did something else, and then I ended up, I think, meeting. Well, I told Jack and Viv I'd meet them for dinner, and I didn't think you were going to make it back in time, but you guys did. So when we went and had dinner, and then we saw another show, I think, that night, and hung out. Again, Madison did not hang out with us at the piano bar. She went and explored and kind of did her own thing after dinner most nights.
They had opened up the ice skating rink that evening. So she went and did that for a few minutes.
Yeah. You had to sign up for that, but she enjoyed it. You got to skate for like 20 minutes or something, and she was done after 20 minutes. She was done.
Yeah, I remember.
But she said it was worth it. It was fun.
I remember we left port pretty early that day because we were going to go from Costa Maya up to Cozumel. And so, yeah, I don't really know what we did for entertainment that night, but we probably saw a show, a singer or something. I know it wasn't the ventriloquist. We're going to get to that because that was toward the end of that was after Cozumel. So we wake up the next morning and we're in port in Cozumel. You had booked an excursion to Chakanab or Chankanab. I've heard it pronounced
Chankanab. It's like a preservation. It's a national preservation forest area. And so you have to pay to get into the area, but once you get in, what we did is Madison and I booked to swim with the manatees. And part of that package included entrance into the preservation area where you could go snorkeling, you could lay on the beach, they had a meal that you could have.
Yeah.
So we did that, but I had decided that you really did need to come with us because, again, we did not book it with the cruise line. And at first I felt very comfortable, like it was going to be fine. But then I realized, we're going to have to get into a cab
yeah,
and go, 20 minutes away. And here we are, two little white girls, she's a little white girl, a little white woman. And I just felt like that might not be the best thing to do on our own. It probably would have been perfectly safe. People do it all the time. But we found out that we could just get him an entrance ticket. So for $27, I think,
something like that, yeah,
he was able to get in, and which is great because then he watched our stuff and saved our chairs on the beach. And we were there when it opened at 8:30, and that gave us time to snorkel and hang out on the beach before it got so blazing hot because it's the middle of August. So it gave us some time to enjoy that. And then Madison and I went and we really enjoyed swimming with the manatees there. It was a great experience. The only negative I have is that none of the pictures came out. And so we weren't able to buy. I was ready to buy some pictures because they take the pictures.
Yeah, they kind of make it known that you're not supposed to take your own pictures because they want to sell you the pictures.
Right. And it would have been really awkward for us to take the pictures because we're in the water with the manatees.
I could have been there taking pictures from the side, but they didn't want.
They don't allow that.
Yeah.
They don't allow anyone else to come in unless you're doing the activity. So there were a lot of really cute pictures that they took, but for some reason, when we went to go look at them afterwards, only like 3 of the poses, and they took like 20 pictures. And I kept saying, the other pictures aren't here. The other pictures aren't here. And finally, at some point, I looked at Madison. I said, I guess we're just going to have the pictures in our memories. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, okay. Because we didn't like the 3 that showed up. They weren't the good ones. And I didn't want to, it was a lot of money for them to not like them.
It wasn't included. The pictures were extra.
The pictures were extra. So I was disappointed not to have a picture of that, but the memory of it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, she seemed to really enjoy herself.
Yeah, it was really neat. I mean, you were really up close with them, and so they're called sea cows, and they have very soulful eyes like a cow.
So tell me about the experience, because I wasn't there. So give me the opportunity to kind of live through your memory and your experience of it.
Well, we went into this enclosure that was probably maybe 60 feet by 30 feet. And there's two, Edgar and I don't remember the name of the other one, two male manatees. And they've been there for a while. And so they had them in a larger enclosure, and then they brought them into the smaller enclosure. And there you kind of go down into the water. You go downstairs into the water, and you're like, I don't know, chest height, and you're elevated, like you're on like a ledge. It's maybe 5 feet wide, and you're on that ledge. And so you can kind of hold on to the fence that's on the left side, and then the manatees come up and swim right next to you on the right side. And so they just kind of went down. There was probably 15 to 20 people in our group, and they just had us, do different things, feed the manatees. They eat lettuce.
Yeah. Whole heads of lettuce.
Yeah. So we fed them lettuce, and you put your hands out, and they put their little flippers on your hands.
So you're not in the water with them. You're like,
oh no, you're in the water with them.
But
yeah.
you're on like a little platform so that you're not having to hold yourself up.
Right. Yes.
Gotcha.
So that's what it's really there for. So that you're not having to balance yourself. You're able to balance yourself and still interact with the manatees. They come over and swim right next to you. And they have like two handlers there with you. And they were, very mild creatures. They were great. And so it was really fun. And like they give you a kiss, where they put their head right next to your face, and
like a walrus kiss.
Yeah, kind of. And yeah, it was really fun. We had a good time.
How long was it?
Oh, it was like an hour. It was like 45 minutes in the water with the manatees.
That sounds like a really great experience.
Yeah, I think it was worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to see them feed manatees at Walt Disney World back in 23 when we were there, and that was really fun. And so I know that Madison, she got really excited about that. So being in the water, being able to feed them was probably a real treat. Well, while you guys were off having your manatee experience, I was talking to the bartender who owned the bar behind where we had stashed our stuff, that we were taking with us for the day.
It was a nice place. After we ate, they were like, "Oh, well, you have lunch included," which I had not anticipated. So I was like, "All right, we got free lunch," and it was, the food was mediocre, but they did have a really good punch that we enjoyed, and it was good.
Yeah, and then the rest of the park actually has the beach is kind of the main feature, I would say. But then there's this jungle area where it's kind of like a Mayan ruins recreation. It's sort of like the history and culture of Cozumel, which is kind of neat. And I did enjoy that. We walked through it and saw different idol sculptures and structures and different things kind of actually in a jungle setting, which I thought was kind of nice to see. But we didn't really linger there too much. We kind of walked through. There was a demonstration of a woman making tortillas the way they made them 1,000 years ago, and handing them out as samples. And so it was kind of nice to see, but it was starting to warm up, and we were getting ready to head back to the ship.
Yeah. So we had gotten there at 8:30, and we left about, I don't know, 1 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, you have to think about these things. For me personally, I have gotten really sensitive to the sun in the last 10 years. And so when I do activities in the sun, I want to do them early in the day before the sun is at the height. And I take a sunscreen shirt, like a long sleeve swim shirt, so that I'm mindful of it. I have my big hat, but it gets warm. So, It was middle of August. It's warm in the Yucatan Peninsula in the middle of August.
Yeah. So then we met up with Jack and Viv, and we played some more dominoes. What was really fun is seeing the international staff on the ship, seeing us playing Mexican Train on the ship while in port at Cozumel and coming around and asking us what we're doing and what we're playing. I didn't see a lot of other people. I do on occasion when we're on cruises see people playing cards or having some kind of board game, but you don't really see like a lot of people doing that.
Yeah, I saw several different people doing it. Not as, certainly not the majority, but
Yeah.
we're just there visiting and enjoying the time. And unfortunately, the time we spent was in the buffet area.
Yeah.
And they never kicked us out. So it just changed over. Like on the day after Cozumel was another sea day. And so it was, we were there before breakfast was done.
Yeah.
And we started playing our games. And then they changed to lunch. And then all of a sudden, here it's 4:00. They're bringing out dinner. And we're like, oh, we need to go change so we can go to our dinner.
Our dinner, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But they're so accommodating. And once you find a nice table, and the back of the ship in the buffet was really an excellent place to just.
Yeah. It was very enjoyable because we're just watching out the windows while we're playing. So that was great.
Yeah. We were completely wrapped on 180 degrees of windows on one side, so that was pretty nice. There was one point where you and I went and found, again, a chair on one of the lower decks and pushed it up against the side of the ship and kind of propped our feet up on the railing and just looked out at the ocean. And I think I read a book. I think you just kind of daydreamed and looked out at the water.
Yeah, I think I might have been listening to an Audible.
Yeah, that's nice when you can do that.
That way I could just look at the ocean while I was listening to the book I was listening to.
Yeah. And if you want to close your eyes, you can. If you want to be looking at the sea, you can. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. I'm looking at pictures here and seeing the food we had. The chicken parm night. That was pretty good. It's quite enjoyable. One of the things that we did that I don't think you're supposed to do was Jack and Vivian got beverages and we didn't. So we could get like tea and coffee and water. Like brewed coffee, not like.
So we didn't have a beverage package.
We didn't have a beverage package, but occasionally I would just ask Jack, and he would get me like a Coke or a Dr. Pepper or something. Which was we brought Dr. Peppers with us.
That's right. We did do that. And most cruise lines will let you bring a 12-pack of sodas or a bottle of wine. Well, we're not big. Again, we're not big alcohol drinkers, so we brought a. Did we bring 12 Diet Cokes and 12 Dr. Peppers?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Or no. What we did was we split it. That's what we did. So you can only bring per cabin, I think it's 1 12-pack. So we had bought Diet Cokes, and because that's what Madison wanted.
Like a 12-pack.
Yeah.
But we took half of them out and put the other half in so that.
So we had 12 sodas, but
it was a medley. Yeah.
Yeah, it was those.
I think we put them in a.
And Madison
suitcases,
enjoyed it, and we enjoyed having our Dr. Peppers. And then Jack got a couple of.
Yeah, I'd get my Coke, and I'd call it a Jack and Coke because I got it from Jack.
Yeah, yeah. So it was fun. They didn't have a package, but they have got so many points with Royal Caribbean that they can order drinks. So they did that a couple times.
It's kind of like when you go to the casino, they give you free stuff if you linger. You go on so many cruises. I'm sure nobody listening to this is surprised by that. But.
Yeah, we didn't do it. You probably got 2 sodas the whole week from him, maybe 3.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I want to talk about, because after dinner we went and saw one of the best shows on the cruise, but I want to talk about a couple of the other ones that we saw earlier. So we saw a singer who couldn't remember the names of the members of his band. And
it was his first night on the ship.
And he was really
he seemed a little
phoning it in.
I don't say he seemed a little discombobulated, like he had gotten off his routine and he hadn't had time to like gel.
Yeah.
Like it's like they didn't have time to do the same normal rehearsal. That's the feeling I got from it.
I think they were having technical issues too, because he kept talking into his microphone that he couldn't hear himself in the in-ears.
Yeah, and so yes, that was an issue. He kept
telling the technical people to turn him up in his ear, and he said it several times.
Yeah, so he was having a was having a little bit of a rough time, but he was good and he was talented.
He's talented, but my takeaway was they promoted how great he was and that he was an award-winning performer, and then he came out and talked about how great he was and that he was an award-winning performer, and then and then they had all these technical issues which he couldn't just work through, because I would think that like a really great award-winning performer could just work through technical issues. He just had problems through this whole show. Couldn't remember the names of his musicians and just,
I think I might have a little more grace.
Yeah.
Because I've been there. I've been dealing with
I know.
Doing something live.
As a singer, you've done stuff like that.
And having your in-ears not working. And yeah, if you get those technical issues after you've been with the same band for 2 weeks, then it is no big deal. But if it's your first performance with these musicians who know your stuff, but still you haven't had, 20 shows with them yet, it's a little bit, that's how it felt to me. It felt that they just had not had time to sing, which was disappointing. But, it was still very good. And I just, I am a musician. I am a vocalist, but I don't do it for a living. But there were times in my life where I considered doing it for a living and I started to go that direction. It is so much work. And so I have so much respect for people who really are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we went to another show.
Yeah, it was like a Broadway type show.
Yeah.
That was also its first show of its kind.
Yes, but it wasn't the first time they performed it on the ship.
Well, they had a bunch of people there that were there because it was brand new. Like from Royal Caribbean.
Oh, yes.
The costume people, like the choreographers, the people that kind of like created the show were on the ship to witness the show on the ship with the performers for the first time.
And it was good. And I wish I could remember the name of the show. It was okay. It was less of a story than it was
a medley of songs.
It was like they tried to create a story and then use like 4 or 5 different genres.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like the story was cohesive and worked.
Well, the story was you were at like an art gallery exhibition, and then you were going into the artwork. And there was one that was like an old gangster style piece of art. Then there was another was like an old Western style of art. So the different acts were based off of the different works of art. But I don't think it translated as well as maybe they had hoped.
Yeah, I wasn't really impressed with that. I was impressed with the musicianship, the talent of the vocalists and the musicians, and they were very impressive.
Yeah.
They were hitting the cues. The pitch was good. It was their vocals were great. I enjoyed that, so musically I enjoyed the music
too. I mean, it was visually,
the dancing,
it was a good show. Obviously, it was a good show.
What I would enjoy more would be something that you just say, clearly this is a variety show. You don't try to tie it all together, or you give me an actual musical, like the abridged version of,
My Fair Lady
or Beauty and the Beast or something, which we've
is what
seen.
Disney does. Yeah, when you're on their ships on their own.
Yeah, of
library.
their own. So, yeah, it was good. It was good. It was not as enjoyable as the last evening.
The last evening. Well,
which I was not expecting at all. I was like, all right, I would never, ever go to this type of show on land. I just wouldn't. It would never. The only time I've ever seen this type of show is on TV, like on America's Got Talent or something. It was a ventriloquist show.
Yeah, which can be very funny.
But
could also be kind of a
weird,
a disaster at the same time. Yeah.
It was good.
This guy was good.
This guy was really good. He was really funny.
Really talented.
He was very talented. It wasn't off color, because I've experienced that too, where they couldn't just have any jokes that weren't off color. But there may have been a few that were on the line or something. But I think it was family friendly and it was funny.
Yeah. And wasn't Jeff Dunham good, but he was fairly funny, and you could tell he'd been doing it for probably 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was good. And what made it even more fun was being with Jack and Vivian. And then Vivian got real tickled.
She did.
And so she was just laughing really loud. And so he would say a joke and I would start to laugh, and then I would hear her laugh, and that would make me laugh even harder. So that was a fun night. That was really, really fun.
Yeah, that was great. All right, so let's see what we got here. Ice rink, singers, dancers, piano bar, ventriloquist, played games. Oh, the washi. I wrote that.
So yeah, so there's a lady that stands at the buffet where you walk into the buffet, and she's like, they converted all these pop songs into songs about how you need to wash your hands. And if there's songs not going on, she's saying washi washi, washi washi when you come in, and reminding you, please wash your hands before you go to the buffet. And that's great. I think that's good. I think that's kind of, I don't know if they did that kind of thing before COVID, but after COVID they do. And man, I like it. I appreciate it. They have great washing stations where you didn't have to touch anything. You could just put your hands under, the water came out, you got the soap, you're able to grab the paper towels, and you're immediately washing your hands right before you walk in to eat. Yeah. So I really like that.
I wonder if they did that before COVID. I mean, it's a very post-COVID kind of mentality, kind of,
which it should have been. I mean, I remember during COVID, I was like, what have you people been doing anyway? Have you not been washing your hands this whole time? And I guess that's true. But I've always been very mindful of how I wash my hands because I've worked in the public.
Especially before you handle food.
Yeah, absolutely. I working my way through college, I was a waitress. And then I worked in the travel industry, and I learned very quickly that if I didn't wash my hands frequently, I got a cold. I would catch cold because you're dealing with the public and you're dealing with, hundreds of people a day. You learn to wash your hands. So I already did that, but I love that they're encouraging it and that
they make it fun.
Yeah, they make it fun.
Yeah. All right. Would you recommend
Royal Caribbean?
Royal Caribbean, this cruise? This may be our only option for Galveston cruises pretty soon.
It was a fun cruise. The different lines have different vibes, and they did have a water slide on this cruise. None of us tried that out. They also had an escape room that we meant to try out, but we just didn't. We ended up playing games with our friends. Yeah. I would have liked to try out the escape room. I think that's a clever thing to add on. It was kid friendly, but it wasn't super like kid heavy. Part of that was probably that we took the cruise like during the first week of school being back in Texas. So there were kids on the cruise, but it wasn't overrun.
Yeah. That was also a challenge for Madison because taking her the second full week of school, her senior year, really kind of.
Yeah, she had to really work to get caught up. Yeah. But I think she would say it's worth it. I think it was worth it as a family. We got to spend some really nice time together and do things. And, once your kids are out of high school and going to college, she's still in high school, but she's already 18. She's already, like I was at 18.
You're
my foot,
see them though,
I'm halfway out the door. And so we're not going to have that much more time with her. And so it was enjoyable to have that time. It was really special. Would I recommend Royal Caribbean? Yeah, sure. It was a great price and a great product. And I don't have anything really bad to say about it. If I had to pick between Princess and Royal Caribbean, I'm probably going to go Princess, but I'm in my 50s, and that's definitely the demographic that Princess is going for. There's a lot more kid-friendly things on Royal Caribbean. Like our friends who have younger teenagers went on Harmony of the Seas out of Galveston the week before we did. And they loved it. They loved Harmony of the Seas, and the kids loved all of the water slides and the pools and all of the things that they had for teens. They loved it. And so it depends on who you are and what your vibe is. I think we have a more chill vibe, but 20 years, not 20 years ago, but even 15 years ago, when our kids were littler, Princess probably wouldn't have been a good fit for us, but it's a good fit for us now.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we have a Princess cruise coming up. Based on the things that we can compare, price, based on our experience with Princess, we kind of have some expectations and things that we know we can expect from them. How does this cruise on Mariner of the Seas compare to the Regal Princess?
So we haven't been on the Regal Princess before, but I've been doing a lot of research on it. We were on the Sun Princess back in March, and that was a brand new ship. I mean, only like not even a year old when we were on it. The Regal Princess is going to be age-wise closer in age to the Royal Caribbean, but I've heard a lot of great things about the Regal, that it's a great ship. A lot of people really like the ship. I've heard people who've been on the Sun Princess and the Star Princess, which are the newest ships in Princess's fleet, say they love Regal and it's one of their favorite Princess ships. So I'm looking forward to the layout of it, checking it out. It's going to be different than what we experienced on the Sun Princess.
I know we're going to have 7 days in January. We only had 5 days in August. There were 3 of us in August, but there's only going to be 2 of us in January. Was there a big difference in price, or was it pretty comparable?
I would say the price we paid back in March was double what we're going to pay in January, because
brand new ship.
And we're sailing at a different time.
Yeah,
we're sailing out of a different port on a different ship, and I bought those tickets for the Sun Princess. I mean, we planned that trip 3 weeks from the sail date. Yeah. We've been planning this trip with Sun Princess on the Regal Princess for
summertime.
Yes, we booked it in May, and originally we were planning to go with my parents and my siblings. My parents have decided that they are not going to join us, so they're not going to be joining us. But 2 of my brothers and their wives will be joining us, so that'll be fun. We'll be with a small group, but we will also be the 2 of us on our own. So I'm looking forward to that. I think I like the Princess vibe. I also liked. One thing I liked better about Princess than over Royal was the places, the conversation areas that we found. We found so many conversation areas on the Sun Princess where it was like you had outdoor deck furniture where you could sit and visit.
That was nice.
And look at the ocean. Whereas on Royal Caribbean, I think I saw maybe 4 non-deck chairs that were available to sit on, and
they were always taken.
Yeah. And just I liked that aspect better. Yeah. So we'll see how Regal does. I'm looking forward to the January cruise. I really did enjoy Royal Caribbean because I was with Jack and Vivian, and I just enjoyed them.
Yeah.
So great. If you go and travel with great people, you're gonna have a good time.
That's a big part of it. In fact, they were, like you said, they were there with other family members, but I think we spent more time with them, or they spent more time with us than even their family.
Yeah, when we first arranged to go, what Vivian said, listen, if you go with us, this is the thing. Y'all do what y'all want to do, we'll do what we want to do. And if it works out where we can do stuff together, that'll be great. We'll at least go to dinner together and have time there, but we don't have to be with each other all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. And I think that she's picked up on that after years of traveling with various people, that's just the way you got to do a cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can have time on your own. You can have time with your friends. All on a ship where you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean, you don't have to make your own bed.
As long as you're not sharing a cabin with them, you can get away from them.
Even if you are sharing a cabin, you can get away with them.
That's true. Madison got away from us.
She got away with it. Yeah, she did.
So, any final impressions, last thoughts?
No, I still like cruising.
Good. I like cruising with you.
Yeah, I like cruising with you too.
Yeah. Well, Mariner of the Seas was a hit. We enjoyed it, and it did not. Sun Princess made us cruise people. Mariner of the Seas did not diminish that or take that away.
So, no, it did not.
We got to check off a 4th cruise line, and even though we're going to actually do a Princess again, that'll be the first time we've repeated a cruise line. There's many more to try out, so we're going to continue to try out different cruise lines in the future. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up, but I just want to encourage that if you made it this far and you enjoyed what you heard, please go rate and review what we're doing. If you're watching or listening to this on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or wherever else you listen to podcasts, then go hit the rate and review button and give us 5 stars, because that's going to help us stand out against other travel type podcasts. And we just want to keep doing this. We enjoy it, and we hope you're enjoying it too. You can also reach out to us on Twitter and Facebook and let us know what you think if you want to connect with us. So that's all I've got. Any last thoughts? No?
Nope.
All right. Well, this has been fun. Thanks, Cheryl.
Thanks, Joey.